Could Caitlin Clark be destined for MVP in her rookie WNBA season? According to Indiana Fever's new player development coach Keith Porter, we might be witnessing something unprecedented. In a revealing interview that's got basketball fans buzzing, Coach KP shares insights that suggest 2025 could be the year Clark redefines what's possible in women's basketball. Coach KP from Caitlin Clark's viral off-season workout. When Coach Keith Porter sat down for his recent interview, nobody expected the level of insight we'd get into what could be one of the most transformative rookie seasons in WNBA history. As the Indiana Fever's new player development coach, Porter brings not just expertise, but a fresh perspective on developing one of basketball's most electrifying talents, Caitlin Clark. The fans of people I've met have been awesome. Just overall, it's been a blast. It really has. And then also working with Caitlin Clark every day has been a dream come true. And break down what makes Porter's insights so fascinating. First off, he's not just any coach. Coming from 2 successful seasons with the Connecticut Sun, Porter has already established himself as one of the rising stars in player development. But what's really catching everyone's attention is his unique approach to working with Clark during this crucial transition period. Yay, so this is only your second season, correct? Or it will be your second season in the WNBA. No, this is my third. It's your third. Okay, so 2 seasons with Connecticut. Yep, 2 seasons with Connecticut. Okay, perfect. And you were there with Coach Stephanie White. Yes, and now you are here in Indiana. One of the most striking things Porter revealed was his preparation process. Picture this, a coach so dedicated to getting it right that he'd write up workout plans, tear them up, and start over, just to ensure every detail was perfect for Clark's development. That's the level of commitment we're talking about here. And why? Because, as Porter puts it, when you're working with someone of Clark's caliber, you can't just run standard drills. Everything needs to be purposeful and precise. Every workout I'm writing up, so it was a lot of writing this up, scrapping that, ripping that paper up, doing it again. I love the planned workout, so it was really just going back, first watching all of our games against Connecticut, and just seeing what she did well, what she didn't do well in, and then just watching her games and just getting really familiar with how history between Porter and Clark became evident from day one. Despite the immense pressure of working with basketball's newest superstar, Porter describes their training sessions as having a natural flow. This isn't just about a coach and player working together, it's about 2 basketball minds connecting to push the boundaries of what's possible in the women's game. What's particularly interesting is Porter's assessment of Clark's maturity. Here's a 22-year-old who's already dealing with more attention than most athletes see in their entire careers. She's sitting courtside with Taylor Swift one day and breaking scoring records the next. Yet, according to Porter, what stands out isn't her celebrity status, it's her groundedness. He mentions repeatedly how easy it is to forget you're working with someone who's basically become a household name because she carries herself with such normalcy and focus. And for me, it's mostly kind of fine-tuning at this time of year, right? I love to fine-tune, and just add like 1 or 2 more pieces that can, complement her natural game. His approach to developing Clark's game is fascinating. Instead of trying to overhaul what's already working, and let's face it, a lot is working in Clark's game, he's focusing on adding layers of sophistication. Think of it like adding new tools to an already impressive toolbox. One key area he's targeting is pace management. This isn't just about playing fast or slow, it's about mastering the art of controlling the game's tempo, similar to how NBA greats like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic manipulate defenses with their change of speed. The training sessions themselves sound intense. Porter revealed they're working extensively on pick-and-roll variations, but with a twist. Instead of just running standard plays, they're preparing for every possible defensive coverage Clark might face in the WNBA. Remember, this is someone who's already seen every imaginable defense in college, from full-court presses to face guarding and double teams. But the pro game is different, and Porter's making sure Clark's ready for that next level. What's really telling is how Porter describes Clark's approach to these workouts. Despite all her success, despite all the records and accolades, she shows up ready to learn, ready to be coached. That's not as common as you might think, especially for someone who's achieved what Clark has. But Porter says it's this willingness to keep growing, combined with her natural talents, that could make her rookie season something special. The timing of all this couldn't be better. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth, and Clark's arrival is perfectly positioned to take advantage of this moment. Porter seems acutely aware of this, talking about how they're not just preparing for games, but for the entire experience of being a professional athlete in today's media landscape. One of the most intriguing aspects Porter discussed was their focus on longevity. Drawing parallels to Kobe Bryant's career evolution, he explained how they're working on skills that will not only help Clark succeed immediately, but sustain her excellence over a long career. This isn't about making a splash in rookie year. It's about building a foundation for a potentially legendary career. The team dynamic at Indiana is another fascinating element Porter shed light on. Working alongside head coach Stephanie White, whom he describes as a mentor figure, Porter talks about how the entire organization is aligned in their vision for Clark's development. It's rare to see a head coach so involved in individual workouts, but White's hands-on approach speaks volumes about the Fever's commitment to maximizing Clark's potential. Porter's insights into their training methodology are particularly revealing. They're not just running drills, they're simulating game situations, preparing for specific scenarios Clark will face in the WNBA. This includes working on everything from handling physical defense to making quick decisions under pressure. What's impressive is how they're able to maintain the elements that made Clark successful in college while adapting her game for the professional level. The mental aspect of their training is equally important. Porter emphasized how they're working on maintaining composure under pressure, something Clark has already shown a natural aptitude for. But the WNBA brings new challenges, new pressures, and they're preparing for all of it. It's this comprehensive approach to development that suggests we might be witnessing the beginning of something special. When discussing Clark's potential impact on the game, Porter's enthusiasm is palpable. He sees her not just as a talented player, but as someone who could potentially redefine aspects of women's basketball. The way she combines deep shooting with playmaking ability, her court vision, her ability to control the pace of the game. These are elements that Porter believes could revolutionize how the game is played at the professional level. What's particularly noteworthy is how Porter describes Clark's basketball IQ. He talks about moments in training where she'll make an adjustment before he even suggests it, showing an intuitive understanding of the game that goes beyond just physical skills. This mental acuity, combined with her work ethic and natural talents, creates a foundation for what could be an exceptional rookie season. The physical preparation is equally impressive. Porter detailed how they're working on conditioning that specifically mirrors game situations. This isn't just about being in shape, it's about maintaining elite performance levels through an entire WNBA game, which presents different challenges than college basketball. They're focusing on explosive movements, recovery between plays, and maintaining shooting form even when fatigue sets in. Throughout the interview, Porter kept coming back to one theme: Clark's readiness for the professional game. Despite the massive expectations, despite the unprecedented attention, despite the pressure of being the face of a franchise before playing a single professional game, Porter sees someone who's not just prepared for the challenge, but eager to embrace it. This isn't just coach speak or preseason optimism. There's a genuine belief that we're about to witness something special in the 2025 WNBA season. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture of what Coach Porter's interview reveals about the Indiana Fever's future and the broader landscape of women's basketball. Because what's happening here isn't just about one player or one team, it's about a potential shift in the entire sport. The Fever's approach to building around Clark is fascinating. Porter's insights reveal a carefully crafted strategy that goes beyond just adding a talented rookie. They're creating an entire system designed to maximize not just Clark's abilities, but how her skills can elevate everyone around her. This includes working closely with players like Aaliyah Boston, whom Porter also discussed in detail during the interview. Speaking of Boston, Porter's excitement was obvious when discussing how Clark and Boston could work together. He shared some interesting details about his workouts with Boston, noting her incredible strength and surprising sense of humor. What's really intriguing is how he's already thinking about ways to integrate Clark's playmaking with Boston's post presence. This isn't just about two star players, it's about creating a dynamic that could make the Fever one of the most exciting teams to watch in 2025. The influence of head coach Stephanie White can't be overstated here. Porter's description of White's involvement in player development sessions is telling. Most head coaches might drop in occasionally, but White is actively engaged in the process. This hands-on approach suggests the Fever aren't just adding pieces, they're building a cohesive unit with a clear vision. One particularly interesting aspect Porter discussed was the pace they want to play at. The Fever aren't just looking to run and gun, they're developing a sophisticated system that can shift gears depending on the situation. Porter mentioned how they are working with both Clark and Boston on conditional running, ensuring they can push the pace when advantageous, but also execute in half-court sets. The focus on player conditioning is particularly noteworthy. Porter described how they're implementing full-court drills that simulate real-game situations. This isn't your standard off-season training. It's specific, purposeful work designed to prepare players for the unique demands of their system. For Boston, it means being able to run the floor after battling in the post. For Clark, it's about maintaining her shooting form and decision-making even after multiple high-intensity possessions. Porter's experience with the Connecticut Sun provides an interesting perspective here. He talked about how different organizations approach player development, and what stood out was his emphasis on building relationships first. This isn't just about X's and O's, it's about creating an environment where players feel comfortable pushing their boundaries and trying new things. The impact on the WNBA as a whole could be significant. Porter didn't shy away from discussing how Clark's arrival, combined with their development approach, could influence the league's style of play. He sees the potential for a more dynamic, up-tempo game that still maintains the strategic elements that make women's basketball unique. What's particularly interesting is Porter's discussion of how they're preparing for the media attention. The Fever aren't just getting ready for basketball, they're preparing for what could be unprecedented levels of coverage for a WNBA team. Porter mentioned how Clark's composure and maturity will be crucial here, but it's clear the entire organization is gearing up for a new level of visibility. The partnership with Unrivaled Basketball League came up in the conversation too. Porter's insights into how this league could help players stay sharp during the off-season were fascinating. He sees it as more than just a competition. It's an opportunity for players to work on specific aspects of their game in a competitive environment. There's also the international aspect to consider. Porter discussed how many WNBA players typically head overseas during the off-season, but with Clark's arrival and new opportunities like Unrivaled, that dynamic might be changing. The ability to stay in the States, work with development coaches, and still earn good money could be transformative for the women's game. The technological aspect of their development program is impressive too. Porter revealed how they're using advanced analytics and film study to break down every aspect of the game. This isn't just about watching game tape, it's about understanding patterns, tendencies, and opportunities for innovation in how the game is played. What's particularly exciting is how Porter describes the potential for innovation in the women's game. He sees Clark's skill set not just as a collection of impressive abilities, but as a catalyst for evolving how women's basketball is played. The combination of deep shooting, creative passing, and basketball IQ could open up new possibilities for offensive schemes. The community aspect shouldn't be overlooked either. Porter talked about how the Fever are preparing for what could be a surge in local interest. They're not just developing players, they're helping build a basketball culture in Indiana that could rival the state's rich basketball history. The competitive landscape of the WNBA is another fascinating aspect Porter discussed. He sees the league entering a new era, with young stars like Clark joining established veterans. The level of talent coming into the league, combined with evolving playing styles and increased resources for development, could make the 2025 season particularly special. Porter's enthusiasm about the future was evident throughout the interview. He sees the Fever not just as a team adding a talented rookie, but as an organization on the verge of something transformative. The combination of Clark's arrival, Boston's continued development, White's leadership, and their comprehensive approach to player development creates an exciting possibility for what's ahead. The economic implications are significant too. Porter touched on how Clark's impact could extend beyond the court, potentially influencing everything from attendance, to merchandise sales, to media rights. This isn't just about basketball success, it's about growing the game at every level. Looking ahead to the 2025 season, Porter's confidence is grounded in the work being put in now. The attention to detail in their preparation, the focus on both individual and team development, and the clear vision for how they want to play, all suggest we might be witnessing the beginning of something special in Indiana. The ripple effects could extend far beyond Indianapolis. Porter discussed how their approach to player development, combined with Clark's unique skill set, might influence how young players approach the game. This could lead to a new generation of players who combine deep shooting ability with playmaking skills, potentially changing how the game is played at all levels. What's clear from Porter's interview is that the Fever aren't just adding a talented player, they're building something bigger. The combination of Clark's arrival, their comprehensive development approach, and their clear vision for the future suggests that 2025 could indeed be a transformative year for both the Fever and the WNBA as a whole. If you're as excited as we are about Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey, make sure you don't miss any updates.